there are some safety considerations that need to be handled. And as mentioned before, the surgeon will always tackle a lot of problems by using the first one. Start at the lowest possible power setting and slowly increase. That's by far one of the most important things when using electrosurgery. Daniel, do you want to tackle the next one?
This is really, I guess, onto the safety side of things, of inspection and of the devices that are being used with the surgeries. And I think the obvious thing is not having a hole in them. They're insulated to protect that flow of the current and to ensure that it takes the right path through the plate, and obviously that there aren't any dangers there whereby there could be. I mean, I think the obvious ones to look at are the smaller forceps, so the smaller monopolar forceps, which are just the sort of general surgery. And you can often easily see the nicks in those, where there are holes in those, or there's insulation damage, or there's damage on the tip. But of course, breaks in the insulation on your longer instruments, sort of the laparoscopic instruments, that perhaps you're not going to be able to see when you're operating completely, which is obviously a danger there. That you're talking about their direct coupling as well. Again, this is direct coupling and capacitive coupling. You've got a scenario where you've got the instruments being used. You can't really have a full picture of if there's damage to that instrument, if it's potentially burning the inside of somebody, in a minimally invasive operation. So I think it's really awareness there that anything that's being used in the operation should be checked thoroughly for nicks and for damage. And of course, you can get. It's not only that, the devices can be particularly difficult to clean on the tips as well. So, I mean, that's something, Jiri, that you'd advise using sort of pads while the devices are being cleaned to ensure that the pentacles are clean.
Yeah, there's a different type of a cleaning pad, so to say. When you have it's called eschar, when you have burnt tissue on the tip. So it's a special pad that it's really good for the instruments. So we prefer to use that one, or to sell, and our users to use that one because it's safer. And as you mentioned, it's if you actually listen to from this slide, start at the lowest possible power settings and brief activation. And then if you make sure that all the equipment is up to par, it's not damaged. If it's damaged, go to surgical holdings and get new ones instead. But you're gonna end up minimizing a lot of risks just by doing that. Carefully inspecting the equipment, and basically use bipolar electrosurgery when you can. So that's one thing as well, because of the controlled electricity flow. And and as mentioned before, surgical smoke. We're seeing an increased demand in surgical or smoke evacuators in Europe. And I live in the Nordic countries, so in a lot of places it's illegal to operate using electrosurgery without smoke evacuation. So it's getting more and more pressure in every country to actually take care of the surgical smoke with our smoke evacuation systems.
Yeah, I mean that. Obviously, I think with COVID, that has become obviously an increasing area of awareness. Just before we move on, I just wanted to mention, just going back to the things like the blowholes in the instruments, and the is that obviously you can look at them, and I think that the main recommendation is just to look at them with the naked eye. But there are of course testers and testing units you can buy that can obviously ensure that there's some assistance there, that you're checking the sort of classic sort of electricity game with essentially the principle's the same, where you're putting current through and putting the forcep in, and it will flag up and buzz if there is an issue on that. So I think that's really, really important, particularly on the laparoscopic instruments, because as I mentioned, that's hidden danger there. And yeah, just to be aware of the issues with coupling, and that if you've got a stainless steel instrument and you've got you're using it alongside an instrument that obviously has electricity running through it, I think it's a natural thing for there to be a cautious approach there, because of obviously, as we know, the current taking the least resistance.
Yeah, absolutely correct, especially with the laparoscopic procedures. Absolutely correct on that one.